Okay, calm down.
And what about the presidential elections? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I saw somebody ask in the chat if I was supporting Kamala. Yeah, no, I am not supporting Kamala. I won't support anybody that's okay with genocide. I just won't. It's funny. I always said I would never be a single issue voter, but then again, I never thought that genocide would be like one of the issues I was actually contending with. So I have now become a single issue voter. And so that limits my options. I'm assuming that my best bet will be voting for Jill Stein. I don't know. I mean, I do love Dr. West. I know everybody has their opinions about everything. I am so tired of the infighting, but yeah, I won't vote for somebody that's on board with what's going on. So that's not happening.
Well, a lot of people are saying that she's a lot better than Biden. Let's take a look at this video of Kamala.
The climate crisis, and he intends to end the Affordable Care Act. You know what? If you want Donald Trump to win, then say that.
Sorry, I should explain. These are pro-Palestine people who are interrupting her speech. Okay, let's.
Oh, I've seen this.
Yeah. No, but for people in the audience. Okay.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah. Sorry, Brad. Can you?
Climate crisis, and he intends to end the Affordable Care Act. You know what? If you want Donald Trump to win, then say that. Otherwise, I'm speaking.
That woman.
What does that even mean? What does that mean? We're not going back. What does that mean?
I don't know. Maybe like we're not going to go back to Make America Great, or
I have so many things about that clip that bother me. Like there's so many layers to the things that bother me. But first and foremost, I want to tell you, like, to me, at that moment when she was sitting there with that stare, I swear to you, I was waiting for Scooby and Shaggy and the team to run up, rip off the Kamala mask, and it's Hillary. That is, like, to me, that's how I picture Kamala, is it's just Hillary in a Kamala suit. Total condescension, total disrespect, total, like, just disgustingness. And, you know, not at no amount of real humility at all. But I think she's very vapid.
Yeah, I mean, it's just funny that she overtly says the thing that we on the left kind of mock liberals for saying, which is the butt Trump. Like, really? That's your response to people raising their issue with genocide? Well, okay, you're helping Trump.
Yeah. The only people that it really works for, which is so interesting, and I've talked about this before, it's, you know, I spend an inordinate amount of time knocking on doors and dialing for dollars. So I talk to a lot of different voters, and predominantly Democrat voters. So the people that in theory should be her people. And without a question, the only people that are really concerned about Trump are privileged white people. That's just who it is. So when that is the message that the Democrats are going to lean into, they need to understand that that's really only reaching very comfortable people. Because people that are struggling to live, Trump does not make their top 10 list of things they're concerned about.
Also, it's worth noting that Brad just texted me, worth noting she shushed pro-Palestine people in Michigan.
Oh, yeah. She's not. It's like they really can't read a room. Right. And that's what's fascinating to me. I also find it interesting, and I've thought this for some time. I have always found it odd that she's a litigator because she can't think on her feet.
Yeah.
She can't, you know, everything is scripted. Every thought is a talking point. She's just like a word salad. She, you know, and I've been wondering for a long time, how has she ever been a litigator? Like, how has that worked? And then I watched the Judge Joe Brown thing and I'm like, oh, okay. Now that makes more sense to me.
What?
You got to just watch the whole video of what Judge Joe Brown puts out. I actually watched other people reviewing it, but just stuff that he was saying about, that it wasn't based on merit. It wasn't based on skill in terms of litigation, and just different stuff from the legal background of, the hierarchy of where she came up from in the state attorney's office. They want to lean into the fact that she's a prosecutor. Well, you know what? I don't want that. I don't want a prosecutor as president. As somebody who's been like a defense attorney, I can say like that's not the people that I want in that position.
Well, we have another video of Kamala where she's kind of changed her tune.
Just say this on topic of what I think I'm hearing over there. Let me just speak to that for a moment, and then I'm going to get back to the business at hand. So let me say, I have been clear. Now is the time to get a ceasefire deal and get the hostage deal done. Now is the time. And the president and I are working around the clock every day to get that ceasefire deal done and bring the hostages home. So I respect your voices, but we are here to now talk about this race in 2024.
Well, if they've been working around the clock on getting a ceasefire, they are very inept.
Well, yeah, and plus I don't believe a word that comes out of her mouth.
Yeah, of course not. But I'm saying if we're supposed to accept what she's saying,
I don't accept platitude sandwich. Thank you. No, thank you. Yeah, I don't believe any of that. I think that that's ridiculous. I think she was still extremely condescending in the way that she said that. And then we'll get back to the business at hand.
No,
there's a genocide happening.
She just tried a different tack.
Right. Because again, I really feel like she's just a vapid shell for whatever Clinton Foundation slush fund. I don't know.
She may be less of a committed Zionist ideologue.
She might be, but I don't know that makes the situation better. Yeah. That just makes other people be definitively more in charge.
Right.
So how does that, and by the way, and this is something that, and again, I am not a Trump supporter. I am not, like, I don't like him. I've never liked him. But when I think about it, like from like reality, we have to decide, would we be really better off? Are we better off with 4 more years of Trump or potentially 8 more years of Clintonism? And I don't know. And I'm just posing that as I think the bigger picture to look at. And again, I am not a Trump supporter. I personally won't support anybody that's in with the genocide. So, but I just think that's something people don't realize. And it's very much like a Band-Aid situation to some extent. Like we're not going to get away with having to deal with the hard things. We're not going to get away with having to be uncomfortable. And I think that's what really bothers me, is that people just need to accept it's going to be uncomfortable. This is going to be uncomfortable. Change is uncomfortable. Got to hold hands.
Well, last question from me. Tell us the differences between you and Debbie Wasserman Schultz, and also what people can do who want to support this race.
Okay, so the biggest difference between me and Debbie is that she's very corporate bought. So she's very entrenched, corporate, special interest, everything from military industrial complex, fossil fuel industry, payday lenders, every nefarious kind of donor you can think of, almost $1 million from AIPAC. So the biggest thing is that I'm just a grassroots person funded by regular people, representing regular people. And I'm also fighting for things such as single payer healthcare, which Debbie's voted against 3 times. Things like, I actually think people should have a living wage. I don't believe that our Congress people should be able to be profiting off of war, certain things. But at the end of the day, she's just, a corporate tool. And I don't know how much difference I would ever be able to make policy-wise or legislatively. I'm very clear on that. I don't think that the Democrats are going to would not welcome me with open arms, even though I'm running as one. I have no delusions. But the idea of having that platform for 2 years, just the idea of having that platform and being able to do the things that you could do. And I just think that would be amazing. That would be, and for someone like me, again, it's not supposed to be a career, and it's definitely not meant to be a lucrative career. And so I'm just saying it's a term of service, and it's an offering. I put it out there as it's an offering for people. And, look, if I'm obviously, you know, I realize how this works. Incumbents usually win. So I'm infinitely more prepared to lose than to win. My election is next week. But I will say this. Before we started our ground game, I was polling in the low 40s. And we have now hit, we will have hit over 50,000 doors when this is done, which is unbelievable. Because in 20, when I ran, we maybe hit 13,000 doors, And I got close to 30%. And so now we've hit 50,000 plus doors. And I just, you know, it's very viable, but I have to be, you know, it's still, reality is you got to make sure people vote. And so that's what we're working on. And that's what we need help with, is getting people out to vote. And the best way to do that is for people to help us make calls. And it's sort of like, if everybody makes a few calls, it helps us get out all of our voters down here. It's calling voters that have their ballots. And so if people can help, please go to gen2024.org and sign up to help us. And it's, you know, that's really what we need right now. Well, that, and obviously money is always helpful. Gen2024.org.
There, I just added that. Well, any final words?
No, I am. Thank you so much for having me on. I mean, it's every time I talk about it, it's just so enraging, like hearing about when we talk about what's going on, and it feels very helpless. You know, like all these people, you have all these people stepping down from the State Department, and yet nothing is happening, and all these people protesting and nothing is happening. But I do think that things are happening. And I do think that we will see the shift. I was inspired just by the fact that Josh, that was his name, right? Josh,
Josh
that he was on CNN.
Yeah.
And was able, that they allowed that on CNN. I felt like, okay, that's some amount of progress right there. But so, yeah, I don't want people to feel discouraged. I think that there's still, you know, I feel hopeful. And I think that regardless of whether I win or lose, you know, there's still a lot of good stuff that we can be doing, and we need to, you know, it's always helpful. It is. We're small dollar donor. Yeah. Thank you guys so much. Yeah, I'm just a regular person just trying to unseat a corporate monolith.
You may want to respond to this. I'd love to donate to the Gen campaign, but I'm a bit leery of Act Blue.
So we have a link on my webpage. If you scroll all the way to the bottom of my webpage, there's a link for if you want to donate around Act Blue. We also take, I think it's a Stripe thing. It's something else. We do. Yeah, we have something else that we have. And then you can there also is an address there for checks. But yeah, I totally respect the no Act Bluers. I'm with you.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much, Jen. Best of luck.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
Bye.